GrownKid is made possible by the Schultz Family Foundation, dedicated to helping young people unlock their full potential and successfully navigate to fulfilling careers. GrownKid is made in partnership with Joy Coalition, where purpose-driven content means powerful storytelling. From 13 Reasons Why to Unprisoned, Joy Coalition projects are made to bridge generations and drive groundbreaking conversations.
I feel like one of the biggest things when you're like a teenager, at least, you know, for me, I'm 21, so 2003 baby. One of the biggest things was like, fuck, I really felt the pressure to like come up with my own intro. You know, like I was like, am I gonna say like, what's up guys? Am I gonna say like, how's it going everyone? Like what was gonna be my like ego? And that was something that I like really struggled to find when I was like 12 years old.
Have you found it?
I'm
clearly not. You guys don't do intros.
No, because that's the thing.
We're reworking the system now.
I don't know how to say my own name. Like I never, no one taught me how to say my name in English.
Try it.
Like Spanish, Gallo Aitor. Cool. English, like is it Gallo later? Is it Gallo Aitor? Is it Gallo Aitor? You know, like no one teaches you this.
That's honestly so stressful. And you just made me stressed out. Like now I'm like thinking, because I take on people's burdens, and like actually that's a lot. I would say Gallo later.
That's what it wrote. That's
as an English like fan of English.
right.
Me too.
You know, we're all fans of English. Like,
It's a great language.
where my English people at?
No, it's a great language.
Yeah.
It is.
So
It really
good.
is
Highly
amazing.
recommend.
Yes.
Yeah, I would say Gallo later. I didn't know that was your last name actually.
It's my middle name. Well, my full name.
What's your last name?
Who am I really? Well,
No.
Lay it out all right now.
my name is Gael Fernandez. You know, that's my
Okay.
Gael Aitor Fernandez. But I used to go by Gael Fernandez when I first started like doing social media and creators. And then I was like, but I feel like Aitor sounds like more unique and like cool.
Yeah. Well, that's why I thought I was like, oh, his name's Gael, pero como que like his username like Gallo later.
A gladiator?
Like I thought it was very like, I was like, oh, that's kind of sick. But no, that's actually kind of a flex that it's your real name.
It's real. It's real.
Fernandez is sick.
It's cool.
It's iconic. It's one of the Mexican. Are you Mexican?
I am.
Are you
Yes,
Mexican?
I am.
I got the stamp to prove it.
Oh, you were born.
I got the vaccine. I could
me
like.
see.
You see that?
That's his ID right there.
No, it's if they don't believe, they're like, you for real
Yeah.
whitewash. I'm like, let me see yours.
Damn, they're like Anaheim.
No, literally.
Hidalgo,
Don't get it
actually.
twisted.
Let's be for real.
Hidalgo.
Yeah. Where's your family from?
Italy, imagine.
Some half Italian.
I'm actually not Latino. That's a big misconception.
I'm Greek with Italian roots.
I don't associate with that
My
community.
Nona is definitely like.
No, Guanajuato and Michoacan. But I really just say Guanajuato because that's the only place I've really been.
So when you're at a concert and like they do like, all right, where's like Oaxaca?
Yeah.
You only cheer for like Guanajuato.
Yeah. No, if they say Michoacan, because like they'll say that first, and so I'll give like a little half like, woo, you know, just because
Not all the way.
Yeah.
Not too much.
But then there's Guanajuato. Then I'm like, puro fucking Guanajuato.
Puro.
Yeah. And it's like literally not just puro.
Yeah. That's funny though.
I went to a concert 2 nights ago, and they did you know how they do like all the countries?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then they saved Mexico for the last.
Yeah.
And then that's when like the lights turn on and
Let's
everything.
go.
That's
No
good.
Italy?
No Italy on this one.
No, but you would cheer. Of course.
I would
Of
cheer
course,
if they were like Venice, Italy. You know,
Not to be confused.
It's Venice.
Not to be confused with Venice.
not California.
Yeah.
So are you born and raised in California?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm born in Hanford, California.
Okay.
Have you heard of Hanford?
No.
Not too fast.
Think about it for a minute.
What was
Maybe you
the
have.
time on that? Like,
Yeah. Can we run that back?
No, but it's
Slow
probably
motion
kind of cool.
timestamp.
You're probably the biggest thing to come out of Hanford, California.
No, not at all.
Oh.
Really?
Not at all.
Shit, so it's an incubator.
It's that's where stars go.
Yeah.
Kelly Clarkson's also from. No, I'm just kidding.
oh, I was like,
Taylor.
no way.
It's from there.
I'm going to move there right now.
Taylor Swift. No, Taylor Hicks. The singer from Journey, Steve Perry, is from there. Have you heard of Journey?
No, but I've heard of Leo
I'm
Gonzalez.
gonna take my time with this
so-
response. No.
That was
I'm
crazy.
like-
You know that song, Don't Stop Believing?
That's Journey. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
I know
okay.
Journey. I know that song.
Yeah. He's from
Okay.
Hanford. He has like a bench at the park. There's a bench with a thing. I'm like, I want a bench.
I feel like you can make it happen.
I gotta talk to the right people.
Yeah, for sure. Well, so Leo, you are in your 20s.
I'm well on my way out of my 20s, but
Well,
yes.
on your way out of your 20s. That's crazy.
Turning 30. Yeah.
30 in 2 months.
So Leo is not a Leo.
No. Libra.
Oh,
Libra.
okay.
And I'm an Aquarius moon, I believe.
don't
No, it's
don't
okay.
be revealing too much. Someone's
Oh,
gonna
that's
cast
so
a spell on you or
true.
something, probably.
Oh, for real, huh?
Evil eye?
Yeah, so they're
I
gonna
don't
like
fuck with
take this info. They're gonna
Never
write in their
mind.
note.
I gotta get out of a spell. Someone put a spell on me already.
Oh fuck,
Wait, do you actually believe in that?
Yeah.
bitch! We should have brought an egg with us.
I have
We
sage
could
at
have
my
cleansed you
house.
for 30.
Oh, I was like, bitch, I'm hungry. No, yeah.
Boiled scrambled?
No, I did a cleanse in Mexico last year.
Oh fuck.
Oh, that's
what
how
they
you know it's
do?
real.
Yeah, what they do?
She, you know what? I didn't finish my half of it because she was like, do this when you get home, and I didn't. Because she was like, oh, you can take this bottle with you. And I was like, God, I can't cross out the border like on the
Yeah.
plane. Like, and I don't want to pay to check baggage,
Yeah.
luggage. And no, she like did a thing and she like was like over me like that. And then she like ripped my hair. She like ripped it.
Like a chunk?
Yeah.
Oh fuck.
I don't know they did that. Maybe they don't.
You went to a
That
very
was a-
special lady.
They don't actually. They don't.
He has like a
I'm here to
soft
tell you they've never done that.
Bitch, I got a spot still missing from my spell right here.
God.
So I'm hoping it works out so soon.
Okay. You see, I grew up not really believing in astrology, but seeing my mom talk about getting her cards read and they be telling her things that I'm like, oh, that sounds accurate, and there's no way they know that.
Yeah.
And then seeing her like charge her crystals, put salt out under in the sun,
Oh.
coming around like doing the sage thing, it makes me be like, you know, maybe there is something to believe in. Maybe they were onto something.
Yeah.
I don't know, what kind of household did you grow up in though? Was it like was there a spiritual guide in it
No.
with your parents?
No, not at all. I think I've been trying to do that more. Like as I get older, I'm trying new things. There wasn't anything like that. My mom's not. I know there's like a lot of like Mexican moms that are like that. My mom's not like that though, because she's not like, I don't know. She was born here. She was born in Pacoima. She's very like, I don't know. She wasn't
religious or anything.
not like explicitly like that. I think it was kind of more like foundation-ish, but not even like, we never went to church. I went to church as a kid by myself, but like my mom never went with me. So yeah, there wasn't anything like that.
Really?
Wait, so you would go to church as a kid by yourself?
Yeah.
What
Was
age?
it like curious? Yeah, were you just like, what's here?
Curious, huh? I like saw them. I was like, what are you guys doing?
Wait, why are you guys partying without me?
Yeah.
Let me join.
I wanted the cracker.
Where's the wine?
Yeah. That cranberry juice? No, yeah, I went when I was 11, randomly one day. I read in the newspaper that they needed volunteers for a Thanksgiving meal on Thanksgiving Day. And I went to the church, and I was 11, and I said that I'd like to volunteer, please. And they let me volunteer for this like big feeding, and then I just never stopped going. And that church never had kids, and never had youth, and so I was like the first kid. So they all like this group of like teen white people who were like all in their late 60s at least, just really liked me. Like they really just like, and then I started bringing my friends because I was like, bro, they got little cars. Like they would get like, this guy, Jerry, gave me like a little tech deck, and I was like, I told all my homies.
The priest gave you
Yeah.
the tech
like,
deck.
bro,
Yo, I need a shoot of
they got
that.
some
Like,
Y'all are
shit,
tight.
bro.
Yeah.
Like they got some, and then like this other guy would give me like a little collectible car like stuff, and I'm like, bro, I would
You
tell
would not
all that,
believe.
and then they would be like, if you bring more kids, like they're like we can like do like outings and stuff. I'm like, bro, like pizza. Let's go do pizza. Like so I got all my homies.
let's go to the club. We're going to Chuck E. Cheese. We're going to John's.
I know.
Pizza.
We're all in the
going-
booth right there.
Yeah, we're in the karaoke booth getting lit. We're getting lit.
That's so funny because I feel like something that I've noticed specifically in Mexican households, there's either two versions of growing up. One is like super strict household. You're going to church every Sunday, etc. And then the other is like your parents don't give a fuck about you.
Yeah.
Like you make up your own rules, your own schedule. You decide what you're doing, what you want to pursue. Do you feel like you had those rules of like, oh, like my parents want me to go in this direction, or was it just like?
No, I had no rules whatsoever.
I feel like
That's what
that's
I'm
either
saying.
the regional music culture and the rockera music culture. I feel like those seem to be the two largest subgroups in like Mexican households. Is either your parents were like the emo goths, rock, like, you know, that, or the like fully regional whatever.
Yeah, no, my
was.
mom was all like, what's his name? He's older now.
Still alive.
Rincon.
Luis, Fernando,
Leodan.
Hernandez, Leodan.
No, he's oh my gosh, he's older and he like apparently charges for selfies. Ugh.
What? That could be
Wow.
so many
His
people.
name.
That's high tech though.
Anyways, it
Wayne
was
Levy.
like not Wayne Levy. But yeah, so for her she's like Jenny Rivera, of course. And
Right,
like
okay.
like all like that. No rock, no none
Right.
of that.
See, that's what it is.
And I love rock. Like always since I was a kid, I was like listening to everything white. I just love white culture. Like growing up, I was like, oh, I love the
That's
Fray.
so wrong.
Is that so wrong?
Sorry.
Look, actually, I got something to say. No, I was
You're coming
like,
forward right now.
yeah.
This is your story.
And actually, dim the lights. And actually, no, yeah. So, but my mom's music was always like very, very like heartbroken, that type of just like cleaning music. And not for me. Like I never liked that. Tigres del Norte, I never liked until like 2 years ago when I heard it. I was like, oh, this is actually the good shit.
You know, that happened to me too, where growing up, I would be hearing all the Spanish music and I would be annoyed by it. I'd be like, oh my God, why is this so fucking loud? Like, y'all are pissing me off. And I think that sounds bad to say, but I think just having it in my household all the time where there was already, you know, like I already see the Mexican stereotypes and stigmas, and then adding that music, I think just gave me a tainted version of it. So I think when I rediscovered it on my own terms, and I was like, wait, you guys, you were on
Let
something.
me put you on.
No, literally, I was like, wait, now let me play it in the house, you know? It's crazy. It is good.
It's good.
That's interesting. I feel like there's like an overexposure to culture because that was me at 12. It's like I wanted to be white. I wanted to be like, Mom, like, what are you doing? I want to speak in English.
Yeah.
You know, I was born in Mexico.
When did you learn English?
At 6. So
Okay,
I came to the U.S. at 6 years old.
And you learned it right away? I was born here and I didn't know English till I was 8.
Fuck.
Like I was not good at it.
I feel like by 2nd grade I was like speaking it, you know, and I had that heavy accent, which I remember I was very insecure about up until 7th grade. I think that's when it started fading. But, you know, I remember 5th grade, I was speaking English good. I was surprisingly never like an ESL kid. And I would always be like, where are they taking them?
Bro, I was so jealous. I was like, Juan, what the fuck? Tell them about me.
Dude, they were like a community. They had a great time. They would get taken out. They would like go over there. I'm like, damn, like I'm
like
here
a
with
group
everyone.
of 12, like a mob and deep, bro. I was like, what the fuck?
No, I think for me, my experience growing up was, you know, coming here and like wanting to be white and then playing video games with my friends and seeing my other Mexican friends speaking English to their mothers and me having to go on mute when I spoke to my mom because I was like, I don't want them to hear me speaking Spanish to my mom. It was like weird or awkward for me. So I wanted to be white really bad. And the media I consumed was like, you know, Disney Channel. It's all white people in there. So of course I wanted that. And it wasn't until, honestly, not until like sophomore, junior year of high school that I really started to feel a sense of like pride in my culture and in the fact that, wait, I'm glad my mom forced me to speak Spanish at home because now I do know Spanish and I kept up with it instead of being like, damn, now I don't know how to speak. And so that was my experience. But I'm curious, like how you said you grew up with like, you know, your mom was born here. Yeah. Are you first gen? Did she go to college? What was your, you know, what's 15-year-old you? What's
15-year-old me?
Yeah.
15-year-old me, what grade are you in? Like a
sophomore in high school.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I had just, my dad lives in Guanajuato. So he's over there. He had kind of been around once in a while because he does this thing where he like comes, which I think a lot of people do, where he comes to the Central Valley, will work and then go back. He has his wife and kids over there. So I think at that time, 15, we had just been, my mom and I had just got our first apartment in a long time.
You were an apartment kid.
No. That was our first apartment in years. We didn't have a home for many years, my whole childhood. So it was very spotty. And so we had been like, I think like around 12, we had a place. We got evicted from there. And then 13, 14, 15, like 3 years we were back, just kind of like going around. So 15 was when we got a place again. And yeah, my mom was working, and right after that, because I graduated, I started school when I was 4, so I graduated when I was 17, and right when I graduated, like within 2-3 months, I left right away. I moved to Eureka.
Okay.
Because I didn't want to be in Hanford.
And what was your plan? Like college? Was that part of the picture? What were you?
No, I think like up until graduation, I was like, yeah, I might go to college because I really wanted to be a news reporter. Like that's what I wanted to study. But like I just was not a good student. Like I just couldn't. I just have never been able to learn well. So no, I think I was just like, my plan was like, I'm gonna go to Eureka. I took a job at a church organization, the same church that I grew up since I was little. I went there and I took a job as the youth director there, and I had been a counselor already at camp for a few years and youth leader or whatever, and so I just figured I'd go over there, and when I got there, I got a job at my first like TV station, and so I was like, as long as my foot's in there, then like maybe I just don't need to go to school. Like maybe I can just like work my way in. Like I practice like how to talk well, I guess, how to read well, how to write and spell well, and I can edit news reports, so maybe I can just like find a way where I don't have to go to school and I can just like, there's those rare people who just didn't go to school and they have a job in that field. And so I think that was the plan, and I spent like 2.5 years in Eureka before I came back to Hanford.
And then what was that like when you went back?
Oh, so embarrassing, because it was like, you like are free, I guess, and you're like feeling cool for a while. And I'm in Eureka, I'm like, I have like a job that feels big, and like I have keys to this building, like they try, that's constantly like a thing. Is like give me the keys, man. Like I got the alarm code like at this church organization thing, and then I'm working at this TV station, so I'm like oh, like things that I'm like doing are on TV right now, and like I would like edit a quick little clip, whatever, and then like 2 minutes later I'd like watch it air on TV. And so it was like, you go from that back to Hanford, and now I go to work at a Philly cheesesteak place and a movie theater because my mom was sick, and so I had to come back. And I'm like, I feel super like like I shouldn't be doing this. Like,
I feel like you're regressing.
Yeah. Like I had keys over there, and now I'm like back at this.
You said you moved back because your mom got sick.
Yeah.
I mean, did you even have a choice? Is that just...
No, because I'm her only child, and it was just her, and she doesn't have parents or anything. So
does that put pressure on you?
Yeah.
Now, like, I feel like everyone's getting older, and it's like, how do you deal with that?
I think it. At that time, I was super angry because I was always really upset growing up because I was like, bro, like we just never really had a home. We never had a foundation. Like this whole time I was just like missing out on a lot of milestones and a lot of just like normal moments that like my friends were having.
How old were you?
When?
During this time.
When I came back,
yeah.
I was 2 or something.
Okay.
I don't know.
Right.
And so now I'm like forced to come back, and now I was angry because I was like, bro, like I spent all that time doing what you wanted me to do, And now I left and I was on to something, I felt like. And now I have to come back and take care of things. And then again, I'm like, this isn't fair again. Like, again, I'm not making my own decision. And so, yeah, I was really angry.
Yeah, I definitely felt that anger as a teenager too, where I remember I would just be feeling like, damn, I wish you guys could just like provide for me.
Yeah.
You know, like, why do I have to like be worried about this? Or like, why am I having to deal with this problem when I just want to be like a teenager? Like, I just want to have a house like my friends do, you know? And it's so hard navigating that. I mean, I don't feel that anger anymore. I've definitely just redirected into, you know, they did the best that they can. But I'm curious now, like, what's your relationship to your mom? Like, do you distance yourself more, or are you still like in that provider mindset?
No, it's I mean, we communicate every day. There's no distance anymore, because I think at some point you're forced to do that horrible seeming thing of like redirecting. Like you said, like bro, at some point it's like, if I'm gonna be the only one mad, then that's too much.
Yes.
It's exhausting. And so yeah, it had to be like, I just need to get over there. You have to find like this like weird balance of like getting over yourself while still being like, but you're so valid. Like, you're like, it's like what you felt was not fair, but like get over it for you.
Yeah.
Like, not just for them, but like for you, like just it's the best thing for you.
It's the cards you were dealt.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, it's like, I think so many of us feel that, like, these are the cards we were dealt. You know, there's people that had older parents that are sick and getting sick and older and retiring when their son is barely like in their teenage years, and they're like, what the fuck? As like a daughter or a son, like, what are you supposed to do? Do you spend 4 years in college? Do you take care of your parents? How do you navigate that? There's like some, you know, a lot of immigrants are undocumented. How do you go through the pressures of like, these are the cards you were dealt. You're supposed to go to school, can't even get a job. What do you do? So it's tough. I mean, I think for me, the guilt that I feel, I'm blessed in many ways. I don't know how your mom is. Is she like significantly like on the older side, or is she like?
No, she's younger. She's like 52, but she's always been. I mean, she's still sick. So
Yeah.
And that's how she always was. And so she's very much disabled and not only physically but mentally from episodes. And to that point too is like, there's people who had like older parents and all these situations, like that's super like you recognize people who have parents like that. And so for me, like, I think my thing was always like, I clung to my friends who had the same thing, because it's kind of like you're like at a work shift. It feels like these other people don't know that. Like, these other people don't, like, I would talk to my friend Allie, who growing up, and I met her at the church, and she was also the lone child with sick parents, both of them. And so like for me, it was always like, that's who I'm gonna go to. That's who I want to talk to, because the other part of that, the other side of that feels unfair, but just like kind of honest, is that like now as I'm older, I've had friends who now lost a parent or now became a caregiver, and now I can't help but feel so much empathy for them. But it's also exhausting, because it's like, I already did this when I was 10. Like, I already did this already, and like, I can't do this again. And like, so there's a little bit of like there can also be like a little bit of an anger of like, you see how you feel now? You're 30. I felt that 20 years ago. I felt that 15 and 10 years ago, and also 6 years ago. That has never stopped. And now you're feeling what I felt for so much time. And I wish that you could have heard me when I told you what was going on.
Yeah.
And so there's also that. You have to constantly navigate, like, what can I take from that happened and redirect it. Is such a.
Do you think it's the feeling of like, I can't think about it too much, or I will like freak out? It's something that I hear me and a lot of my friends, and we talk about all the time, is like, if I really think about the fact that I'm like my parents' retirement plan, and as soon as like, if my mom loses her job or if she can't get work here, it's the household ultimately falls on me. It's like one accident, one sickness. And there was like a scare like that where my mom got sick and she wasn't working. And it's like a big thing for so many first gen immigrants is that we don't have community. There's also a weird thing with, I think, a lot of Mexicans is that they're just allergic to friendship and community. It's like even family is considered dangerous at some points. They're always on guard. And what that happens is I think it puts the pressure on the kids because as the parent, they're always like, I'm not going to go make community because I can't rely on anyone but myself. But then in turn, that just puts the pressure on the kid. And I think for me, if I start to think about the fact that that pressure is on me constantly, I will just like crumble under it. And so the mindset that I think I had to adapt was just don't think about it and like keep focusing on your career, keep focusing on the thing and hope. It's just hoping that nothing bad happens. Because also, I mean, it's not in your control.
Yeah. And also the idea of community too, and like speaking with other people that get what you're going through and that experience. Being an apartment kid, that's such a big part of that. I feel like when you're a kid, obviously you don't fully see all the nuance and implications behind your living situation, community, all of that. And you just find other like-minded kids like, oh, your parents are also paycheck to paycheck. We're also going through similar things. And it's weird because I lived in that bubble. I lived in the same house for like since I was born to this day. And when I finally moved out at 18 for college, that was my first time leaving a space where like I see a lot of other people like me, they look like me, we have the same backgrounds. And then moving into a community where it was so different, like class, race, everything was just so different. And it felt so polarizing where it's that same thing. It's like, oh, I can't talk to you about this because you don't understand. And that's the thing too. It's like, I don't want to share my background because I already hear how you talk about money and other communities. That's like, why would I share? I'm not going to come forward. Like I'm not revealing my cards here. And so it's just tricky navigating those spaces where you feel unwelcomed or not included, because at the same time, you don't want to just walk away from that because then that stays the same. Everybody is just echoing each other. And so I think now I finally reached the point where I feel comfortable enough to be in those spaces where, maybe I am the odd one out or I just don't have the same story as everybody. But I mean, to this day, like whenever I meet another Hispanic at any event or any mostly white place, I'm like, oh, wait, twin. I'm like, wait, okay, let me go towards you. But do you feel that now where it's like, I don't know where, like what area you live in now, but like, do you have a community like that where you feel like, wait, I feel seen here?
No, I think just with my friends, I think with that, as I said, I spend a good amount of time also going back to Hanford every few weeks. But yeah, I mean, I think when I go to those events, sometimes it's like rare to see, another Latino in one of those places, and sometimes there's not another one, and so I feel like there's also that pressure of like I don't want to be like too Mexican, not like, in multiple ways, not too Mexican to where it's like uncomfortable for you, but also not to where it's like almost like I'm also not trying to be like a token Mexican, or like be like, oh yeah, like say things in a certain way, because I think like there's also just a responsibility to just like represent myself well and not be like I'm not gonna do a certain video where if I'm in a group of people and they're like, oh, let's do let me grab video. I don't think that's funny at all. I don't think the border's funny at all. And so like we're gonna joke about that in a video and I'm not gonna be used for that. So I think there's that part of it. But I think that just like anything else, you have to be so intentional in like finding just a community of people that like you and that you like and care about each other's stories, or else there's nothing else.
Interested in a career in mental health? Check out the Youth Mental Health Corps, a new program created by the Schultz Family Foundation, Pinterest, and AmeriCorps, where anyone with a high school degree can gain experience, skills, and a credential during a year of paid service in the mental health field. You can learn more at youthmentalhealthcorps.org or by checking out the link in the description. It's interesting. That's the biggest, I think, dilemma as a content creator, even just as a Mexican man, even for me, is it's weird balancing one, professionalism, whatever that means in, corporate America, balancing the act of my own identity as someone who was an immigrant and born in Mexico, and then also the content that people seek out for comfort on social media. Because to your point of, you don't want to act stereotypically Mexican, you know what I mean? Like I think I see a lot of discourse now more than ever is that a lot of content creators in any ethnicity, there tends to be the stereotypes that we almost become a caricature of ourselves, of like, oh, these are the Latino content creators and they're all known for this type of content. And I think for us, it also leaves the question of like, how can I be a Mexican man, but not be, to your point, too much or too little, or stay in touch with your culture? So I'm curious if you feel like, how close do you feel to your heritage? Do you feel like these are your people, or do you feel a little, I don't know, sometimes do you start to get into these like privileged experiences because you're a content creator now and you could be considered an influencer and you're doing all these things, all these events and interacting with people, and sometimes you're the only Latino there. Do you ever start to feel like, oh, I'm tuning myself down? How are you feeling with your own identity?
No, I think that I think the good thing about it, I guess, is that when I've never been before, I was always making videos for a long time, but I was never a fan of, I was never just a consumer of influencers and creators. And so when I started making content, I did it very randomly just because I had a joke to say and I did not expect it. And so to this day, I've never been married to this idea or job or anything. And so for me, I think that's a good thing, is that I started off as just a blank thing. And so as I go into these spaces, while there is a lot of oh, I don't think I should be here, this is kind of weird, I also look at other people and think well, I mean, you kind of shouldn't either, no matter what. No matter who you are, we're all just we all got really, really lucky when we did a certain video or something, and now we got invited to this thing, and we all know what's going on. This brand is just wanting us to put this on our story, and that's embarrassing for the brand. Let's just be very fully honest in the club. When the lights turn on, this is just one big transaction. This tequila company invited us all to put their thing on our story. That's embarrassing for them. That's so cheap. That's not what you did 10 years ago. So you kind of can be okay, you're not that big of a deal. And then you look at this creator here who has 2 million followers on TikTok, and it's okay, you got lucky, and 2 million is a lot, but it's also not that much. In the city of LA, there's more than that. So it's this you're are you nice? That's it. So and I think also watching myself and the followers that I got along the way, it was also okay, well, that was kind of easy. So it's I think you start to take this importance off of other people and just think I'm just looking for the nicest people in this room, because I don't think you're cool. I don't care how famous or popular or loved you are. If you'd come up to me and act weird and this weird, we're all just here. We're all just when you, I said, you turn the lights on at the club in West Hollywood, it's it's just the lights are on, and we're all what were we doing when the lights were on? We're just pretending that we were all in this thing, and it's not that serious. So I think when you start to see things like one big transaction, it really takes away so much of the pressure of thinking that you shouldn't be somewhere, or that you shouldn't do a certain thing, and or that you shouldn't belong. It's no, I think we all are here. I'd say I must belong, because I did get super lucky, but I also understand that it wasn't all luck. I also had to set up a camera and sit around with my friends as teenagers and talk about life when a lot of people weren't doing that. And so it's you can't be surprised fully when like people are getting like, oh, well, like you have a new podcast. Like I was like, yeah, I was doing that, you know. And so it's for me, when I first moved to LA, and it was like all my friends were out and doing their thing, and I was in the apartment by myself editing. It's like, yeah, like, you should be here. You should be doing this, and I owe it to myself too. With everything that we talked about, everything that's happened in the past, is like, this isn't the time to give up. Like, this is the time that we finally got the opportunity, and I'm not going to allow someone else or a group of people make me feel like I shouldn't be here, because that's weird and ghetto.
It's true.
No, that's so real. I think a big part of just being first gen too is allowing yourself to feel happy without that guilt, and recognizing like, I worked hard for this. It's okay for me to feel good about myself and not always be like thinking about the negative. But I mean, it seems you're very value driven in your career, but when you were first in these spaces, like how were you navigating that? I mean, like, did you have somebody else that you were going through it with, or was it just yourself?
No, I didn't do it. I didn't have anybody to go to these things with in the beginning when I first came to LA, because I wasn't allowed to bring plus ones, and a lot of the times, like, I didn't want to go because I'm so like awkward and uncomfortable. Like, I just am not really fun at these things, and like when it's all strangers, I'm like, bro, like I've seen you on YouTube, like I see that you're, you know, and I'm over here like, oh, I made this video, like, you know, it's like, I think at first it's very much like, I don't know what I'm doing, but then I think at some point, like, these people start to say like, oh, I've seen your videos, or you're, you know, complimenting you, and then it's like, okay, like, yeah, like it's not just La Raza that watched you, like it was also these people that have been doing it for 10 years. So yeah, I think like at first it was uncomfortable because I would be outside of like a content house, or what are they called, like
right,
like one of those events that they would do for a day. Like I'd be outside of one, I'd be like, I don't want to go inside, like so embarrassing, like I don't know anybody and I'm completely alone. But then I went in and I'm just like, whatever, man, like just go, like who cares, like if they don't like you, like at least they got pizza, like, you know, like let's just go in there and do it. And then you meet one person there who is nice and they're funny, and so you guys decide to like do a video together, and at least you got something out of that. And then you ended up making friends because they weren't as like scary as you thought they were, or gonna be, or something, or standoffish. Like they weren't. They were fine, and they were also just like there. I think you learn as you keep going. Like a lot of us also don't know what we're doing. Everyone's just trying to act cool, and once you, I think also like as you get older, you start to realize like this is like you're not cool still. Like you're still not. Like I'm still not cool. I'm still deeply traumatized. I'm still deeply anxious about life. Like you can't be cool while you're so anxious. It's so weird to try to do that. And so yeah, I think as you keep going, like, okay, yeah, we're fine. Like, and that's why I went to the thing where we met.
Yeah.
I went by myself, and I did not want to go. For the life of me, I did not want to go to that.
Yeah.
And then like parking was like not free, and I was like super broke. And I think you and maybe 2 other creators were the only people that I met, and I was like, you know, that was enough for me.
Yeah.
That was good. Yeah.
It's that. It's literally seeking out who looks like me.
Yeah.
Let me go to
Who looks approachable here?
Yeah, I'm over there like scarfing down.
yeah, like another. Just give me like another. Give me another little burger. Holy fuck. God, I'm curious though. I think obviously you have learned so much about how to approach these spaces. I first met you in 2021, so I was still a teenager. You were already in your 20s.
All right.
Not so much on my girl.
He said you were already up there.
I was good.
Yeah.
You know, you're dealing with your stuff. No, but I feel like there's a lot to learn from you. I mean, there's not very many people, and even like for us as we enter our 20s, we're dealing with our careers and being content creators, but also being like business people in our own right, and trying to like be young and be taken seriously. So I'm curious, where were you at 2021? How does it compare to the version of you now? You say you're still an anxious person. Has it got better? Was it worse before?
You know, when I was 21, that's when I was living in Eureka. I don't know if this makes sense or if this is healthy, but I used to be so depressed, and I'm not depressed anymore. Now I'm just anxious.
Okay.
It feels like progress though.
That is.
You got rid of one.
Look,
It evolved.
and so now I'm like, yeah, anxiety is a bitch, but depression could swing. Like depression,
Yeah, that one could take you out.
Yeah.
yeah.
She's got an arm. Yeah.
Anxiety, I'm like, bro, I just need a hug. On like depression, that I was constantly like crying during those years.
Yeah.
Whereas now I'm like crying less. No, but I think at that time I had the same mission. Now, it wasn't like the same goal. I think at that time my mission was like, I want to produce something, and I want to find a way to represent myself and what I've been through, like the experience that I've lived. But the other side of that was like, I just want to survive. Like I just don't want to I don't want to wrap things up in my life like at that time. Whereas now it's like now the difference with being 29 and 20 is that I'm no longer looking at survival, and it's actually really stressful now, because it's like wanting to live now is so scary when you didn't want to live when you were 20. That is so scary, because now I'm like, oh fuck, I want to be here now, and that's scary.
Is it scary because you're like, fuck, there's a lot to figure out of how I'm gonna spend 40 years? Like what?
Yeah.
Like what are you doing? What am I doing? How are you?
I'm scared because I'm like, I'm not used to this. I'm so used to being so miserable and sad that like now I'm like, oh, I want to do that, and like now, like it's scary to like not have to survive. That's so scary, because I think it's so easy to suffer because you're just on like autopilot. But like wanting to live, wanting to be here, like you have to like physically hold on to the steering wheel now. Like you can't just sit there and coast. And you have to say I want to have like, I want to be in community. Like I never wanted to be in community. I was just like, I need a job, and I need to like pay this, and I need gas money. But like now I'm like, fuck, like I just want to unpack now. Like I want to put my backpack down, and I never did that for a long time, because it was always like, I always had that mentality of gonna get evicted soon, so let's keep everything on. And now you like learn to just say like, I'm fine with staying. Like if you're fine with staying, like I'm okay, and we should just sit. And that's scary, to be like, to lay your guards down and to trust yourself when you don't know how to have any financial stability. It's so scary to say like, I'm gonna just do this. And it took a long time, because my finances were already changing and had been changed for a while, until like one day I was like, oh no, Leo, you'd probably get the apartment.
That's like a mind fuck when you're like,
Literally.
wait, I can afford it.
Yeah.
Like what?
Yeah.
The fuck?
You can probably go. Like that's so, like sometimes you don't learn that, to where it's like, no, yeah, you should go. you should go.
Yeah.
And also just the idea of like, yeah, like I don't, like I need to save money and I need to put money away, but also like go to a concert, bro, right? Because like you like that band, man, and like you guys are alive at the same time. You know, it's not like Selena or Michael Jackson, to where you don't have the opportunity to ever see them. I would have loved to see Juan Gabriel, you know, but so we're here at the same time, and so like we should go to the concert. Still save up, but
kind of feels like you had room to expand. You're expanding now.
Yeah.
In all aspects of your life, whereas before it felt like you were talking about it in such a constricted way of keep everything so close to me. I can't afford to let anything now. Now it's like, you know, you want to live. Now you have the finances to live. Now you could afford to put down, you know, maybe start with the couch, even that, just having belongings, you know, having things that are yours, that are permanent, must be a crazy feeling, especially seeing where you were at 20 versus 29. Do you feel like you know yourself?
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot of like, I don't know, there's like around like 27, 28, where you're just like, oh shit, like I'm kind of familiar now with myself. And that's such a good thing, because then once you get that, and then you're with other 29-year-olds, you know, my friend Ali, who I mentioned earlier, who we grew up similarly, like now we can like we can have those phone calls for 2 hours, and I'll fly to Vegas to hang out with her, and we can just be like, damn, like that was really wild what happened in 2009. Like that was real. That was a lot, you know. And I've been so fortunate with her to where like I went to the hospital when her dad was sick, and she came to the hospital when my mom was sick, and I think that teaches you about yourself. It teaches you about that person, teaches you. So then you get to this place of like 29 where I'm like, oh no, I know what I want to do. And even if that means that you don't want to do anything right now, especially like in this kind of job that we're in, a lot of people are like, what's next? And I'm like, no, like I'm chilling right now. Like the White House was that was a pretty big.
Pretty cool.
I don't know what's next. What's next after that?
Well, I'm gonna sleep a little bit. Yeah, like
Rest.
Yeah.
Let me rest for a little
Maybe I'll do, I don't know, the UN later. I don't know. Like,
but be with the UN.
No,
Representing Italy.
that's so real. What you were talking about earlier, I went through a similar realization maybe last week or 2 weeks ago, where we got hit with this overwhelming feeling of just, damn, we can't stop working. Like,
oh yeah,
like we cannot stop working. Like bills are always gonna be paid, which is crazy because it's just adulting really. But I'm like, wow, the first of the month is always gonna be here. Like,
and then March, I'm like, February was short as shit.
That's what I'm saying, and it's just that thought of just I constantly have to make money is just so overwhelming. And even with, again, the space that we're in, when you're your own boss, it's hard to feel that same sense of like, oh, I completed this milestone, so, you know, that's it. But when you are setting those own like measurements for yourself, it's a lot harder, at least for me, to feel that same sense of like accomplishment or validation, because it feels like, again, you can always be doing more. And so I guess I'm just curious, like, do you feel that satisfaction with what you've done so far? It's like, okay, yes, like I can, you know, take the pedal off.
I think there's also a good like balance there that I try to look for, is that where it's like, yeah, you can be happy in what you've done, and you should be, because it was so much more than I ever thought would come ever. Like this wasn't even my dream. So it's like I'm kind of like really excited at how things ended up, but I'm not doing what I was doing when I was in when I first got to LA, where it was like writing all day, every single day. Like I still have a lot of those moments where I'm like, I obviously there's that thing, like you need to keep eyes watching you, because like if you don't post for a week, like that shows.
It's every day.
It's like and it's stressful, because it's like, it's not like I can't, you know, when you're at work at a job like I used to have, it's like, you know, I could get promoted and I can get more hours and all this stuff, but with this, it's like there's not really anything I can do in my work to guarantee that people are gonna watch. Like people could just be like, you know, I'm so tired of that already. Like, you don't want to watch you anymore. You do the same trick, and like that's exhausting, because then it's like, what do I do now? Am I ready to go apply, go get on Indeed after? But no, I try to look for that balance of like, yeah, I'm happy and pleased with what has happened so far, but I also realize and recognize that like you might as well keep going, because there was so much of that time when I was 20 and when I was 15 and 11 that like I wanted this type of thing.
Yeah,
I wanted to do something in media, in TV. Not this. I never thought anything related to comedy. But like I wanted to like make documentaries, and I wanted to produce, and so now it's like, okay, this is what you wanted, and so enjoy it and coast and travel and go to the concert, but keep going, because it's fun.
It's a lot of life to live.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a lot of life
like
to live.
Especially like when what we're doing, it's like we were getting like these front row seat tickets to the world, to life, and it's crazy to have that seat.
So I guess my last question is, do you feel grown now? Do you still feel like a kid?
I feel like a grown kid.
Thank you. You did it for us.
We're good actually. That's it. Don't
Yeah. Actually, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
I feel I do feel like a grown kid, you know, because I have the freedom now that I'm grown that I wish I had as a kid. And now I feel like this so much of this life is a really cool playground, and I didn't spend a lot of time on a playground.
That's crazy. That
was
one
such a
hits.
good-
That one hits.
I was
That
like-
one
I was
hits.
like, oh my God, wait.
Kind of ate.
Oh, fuck.
You ate with that one.
Yeah,
That
actually,
was
like
amazing.
make sure you stop it right there.
Right there. Actually,
And
no.
then
That's getting
fade to
clipped.
black.
Yeah. Shit. And it's like Leo is.
Yeah.
Bye.
That's the end of it.